Hey folks, I'm Barry Reynolds. This is my wife Jennifer Reynolds. That's our standee. Cat's chewing food in the back. I'm sure you can hear that. And this is a Gateway Gamer runs through. And it's been a while since we did a video, Jennifer.
It has, Barry. It really has.
Yes, so today we're doing Arkham Horror. And before we get started, just a couple notes. First of all, I'm sure we're going to f up a rule or two on this.
We're going to fudge it up. Don't be cussy. You shouldn't be so cussy.
There's a lot of rules in this, and I'm sure we're going to screw something up, but just to give it. Second, I'm not going to do set up an overview video on this. I started to, I filmed it. There's 3 or 4 hours of video there. I edited the setup video. It was like 27 minutes, and I set aside no, no more. Yeah, it took me about 4 hours just to get all the pictures for the components settled. So
you are out of luck.
if you want to see an overview video for this, a rules explanation, I suggest you go to Off the Shelf Gaming or Off the Shelf Reviews. I'll leave a link in the description. He did this one, and he's many more. He's a very good video media personality for board games. And that's basically it. Anything else?
No, but you have to stay tuned to see who wins.
Yes. Alright, so without further ado, let's get on with the game.
I'm totally kicking his butt.
What are we playing today, Jennifer?
Annoy Barry.
Annoy Barry. It's the game we play every day. What is the name of the game we're playing?
Arkham Horror, Barry.
Arkham Horror. Kind of fitting. Got a cold and rainy day out today. In October.
Yeah,
Do you know what Arkham's about? No, it's about misery. It's not about spooky. Okay. Have you ever read H.P. Lovecraft?
No.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, so they were playing Arkham Horror.
I bought you the book.
That's true.
Was like the compilations.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's true.
Compilation.
Alright, so in Arkham Horror, we were playing investigators trying to throw the Ancient One back into his own dimension, his own time and space dimension. We are opting to play 2 characters each. I find that makes the game a little more easier for 2 players. If you just use 1 character each in a 2-player game, it's a pretty tough game.
It's guaranteed loss.
Not guaranteed, but
hey,
95% of the time.
I have an awesome idea.
What?
You should make an expansion with Batman.
No.
And then I would like to play it more.
No.
But I get to be Batman.
No.
Yeah, because Batman always puts people in Arkham Horror. I mean, in Arkham Asylum.
There's actually a game called Arkham Asylum with Batman.
Don't buy it.
I'm not. Alright, but anyway, back to where we are on the board game. The Arkham Horror, the H.P. Lovecraft one.
I like Batman.
We opted to play 2 characters each. Jennifer, who are you playing?
I am Ashcan Pete, the Drifter, and Kate Winthrop, the Scientist.
Okay, and I am playing Mandy Thompson, the researcher, and Daryl Simmons, the photographer. Okay, our Ancient One is Ithaca. Ithaca has some special abilities. What are they, Jennifer?
Well, Ithaca's worshippers eat the flesh of their fellow men, gaining supernatural power through their dark practice. Cultists have their toughness increased by 2. Now, while Ithaca stirs in his slumber, any investigator in a street area at the end of the Mythos phase loses 1 stamina, and in addition to that, all weather cards are discarded without their special effects taking place. Now, when he wakes up and we start the battle, Investigators must roll a die for every item they have, discarding the item on a failure. And then there's special rules for his attack. We have to do fight checks or lose 2 stamina.
Okay. And then tell us a little bit about your character.
Ashcan Pete. The story so far. When you lived on the streets as long as Pete has, you see things. Things that would drive braver men screaming into the night. But you also learn to be quiet, to stay hidden, and to play stupid if all else fails. It also helps to have a good dog, like Duke, to scare away the meaner elements of the street. Unfortunately, this time, Pete can't hide, and there's nothing Duke can do to protect him. His nightmares have been growing steadily worse over the last month, driving him all the way here, to Arkham. Even the whiskey isn't helping much anymore. Soon he won't be able to sleep at all. Still, there's always opportunities for a man who knows how to stay quiet, as long as he isn't too picky.
Why don't you tell us what your investigators are equipped with?
Well, Ashcan Pete, he's a drifter, so he's only got $1. But he has 3 clue tokens and his trusty ally Duke, which gives him a +1 maximum sanity, which is awesome. And he has just 1 common item, which is a knife, which only gives him +1 to combat checks. He has a tome that does something.
It does something.
It does.
What is the tome?
Movement. He can exhaust and spend 2 movement points to make a lore +2 check. If he passes, he draws 1 spell and gains 1 clue token, but loses 2 sanity. And then he discards the book. And if he fails, nothing happens. Okay. And he also has the skill, which gives him, in any phase, he can exhaust it to re-roll a spell check. But he doesn't have a spell.
Okay. You went over his unique ability?
Pete draws from the common item, unique item, and spell check deck. He can draw from either the top or the bottom, and at any time, he can look at the bottom card of any deck.
Kate Winthrop. A brilliant researcher, but a shy, lonely person. Kate Winthrop has been working at the Miskatonic Science Labs for 4 years now, and her supervisor still doesn't know her name. That doesn't matter to her, though, as she has been working to complete a private quest for most of the time. Almost 3 years ago, she watched as a device malfunctioned, and Professor Young, her longtime mentor and friend, was torn apart by an indistinct creature that streaked and gibbered before vanishing into the night. Since then, she has delved into the darker scientific studies, always hoping to find something that would allow her to find and defeat the creature along with the others of its kinds. Tonight, her research has finally paid off, allowing her to create a device that can defeat the alien beings she has detected in Arkham.
Okay, and then what is Kate?
Kate, she has $7, 2 clue tokens. She has a common item, which is her Derringer, which gives her +2 combat checks. Her unique item is the Power of Ibgazi, which is a magical weapon. Gives her +9 to combat checks, but she loses sanity and has to discard it. So save that for big monsters. Yeah. She has 2 spells. She can close a gate or add +6 to combat checks. And her skill is +1 fight. Now, during any phase, gates and monsters don't open in her location. And because she has a flux stabilizer.
Okay.
Who don't want one of those?
Yeah.
And but monsters can move into her location as normal.
Right.
And she can move into gate locations.
All right, so we got Ashcan here at the docks, the river docks, and then Kate is at the science building. I have Mandy Thompson, who starts here at the library.
Mandy Thompson. Mandy came to Arkham several years ago looking for work as a researcher for the Miskatonic University.
Since then, she has worked with many of the university professors, delving into esoteric tomes filled with scientific information, historical reports, and sometimes even occult ramblings. It was while reading an old book of the prophecies last week that she first felt that she had stumbled onto something big. Mandy came to believe that certain signs and portents described in the books were taking place in Arkham right now. Omens that indicated the return of a terrible being referred to as an Ancient One, which would grind the cities of men beneath its loathsome tread. Tonight the full moon has turned blood red, which is the final omen of the return of the Ancient One. Slipping into the night and armed with her knowledge of the prophecy, Mandy has decided to see if she can defy fate and stop the events from taking place. She starts off with the Book of Dizan. It's a tome. During the movement phase, she can exhaust and spend 2 movement points to make a lore -1 check. If she passes, she will draw 1 spell, lose 1 sanity, and put 1 stamina token from the bank on the Book of Gazi. If there are 2 stamina tokens on it, she would discard it. If you fail the lore check, nothing happens. Okay. She has a 45, and that'll give her +4 in a combat check. She also has a 38, which will give her a +2 in a combat check. She starts off with 4 clue tokens, $6. Her stamina and health are at 5. That's her max. She gets +1 sneak as her skill. And then her special ability is that, and on any phase once per turn, Mandy or any investigator can reroll a failed skill check. Okay, so that's a pretty powerful one. Then we have Daryl, who starts off up there at the newsroom, the newspaper. Even while growing up in Arkham, Daryl always knew that there was something not quite right about the strange little town. After graduating from high school, he went to work for the Arkham Advertiser as a photographer, and in the years since, he's crawled over every square inch of the city. Last night, however, Daryl saw something horrible, something that has shaken his world to its core and torn away the safe illusions we all foster to protect our minds and our souls. His editor says he was just seeing things, but as he leaves the newspaper building, he knows just what he saw, and he intends to show the world. This time, he'll be more careful. This time, he'll take pictures and prove that things are not normal in Arkham. He has 4 sanity and 6 stamina. Starts out with $4 and 1 clue token. His skill is marksmanship, which means he can exhaust it and then reroll a combat check. He starts off with retainer, meaning he'll get $2 every round during the upkeep phase, and then I have to roll a die, and if it's a 1, I gotta discard the retainer. He has a map of Arkham, okay, which if it's exhausted during the movement phase, he can gain 1 extra movement point. And then he has the Enchanted Knife, which is a magical weapon. I'll give him +3 to combat. And the Necronomicon, which is a tome. And during the movement phase, he can exhaust it and 2 movement points to make a lore -2 check. If he passes, he draws 1 spell and loses 2 sanity. If he fails, nothing happens. Okay.
Now, we already drew a Mythos card to place a gate, but it says the science building, and gates don't appear where I am, which is the science building. But we did add a clue token to the witch house, and
There's no monsters on the board,
right.
So
we don't have to worry about moving them.
Right. Ithaca didn't get a Doom token because no gate appeared. And now we're going to finish off the headline. Now at this point, this is still part of setup, this Mythos card. If you drew a rumor card, you would discard that card and draw again until you get a Mythos card. Either a headline or a environment card.
Now you want me to read the headline?
Yeah, now read the top.
All Gugs and Night Gaunts in Arkham are returned to the cup. If at least 1 monster returns to the cup, raise the terror level by 1. There's no monster, so
we don't have to worry about that.
We don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
So you want me to just leave that there?
Nah, just
put it back.
Discard it.
All right.
There on the bottom. Doesn't matter. Okay, now Jen will be going first.
All
Now
right.
the object of the game is to close and seal 6 gates, which is the easiest way, the more common way to win Arkham Horror. Or have every gate in Arkham closed, and then each investigator will have a number of trophies, gate trophies. Or I should say, there should be a number of gate trophies equal to the number of investigators combined throughout the group of investigators. So in this game, we have 4 investigators. We need 4 gate trophies, and every gate in Arkham would be closed. That's the second way to win the game. The next way to win the game, which is probably the toughest, is if the Ancient One awakes and we defeat him or her, we win the game. Now, we lose the game if the Ancient One awakes and they devour all the investigators.
Which is more than likely what would happen.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay.
We did win this game once.
Yeah, we won it a few times. This was one once.
Against this monster.
Okay, so now we have 5 phases in the game. We have the upkeep phase, which is where we'll adjust our stats. We can do that by the number of focus that each investigator has. We can move each skill up or down depending on the number. So here, Mandy has a focus of 2. She can move 1 skill up or down twice, or she can move 1 skill once and then another skill once. Her choice. Also, during this phase, if there are any exhausted cards, we would refresh them. And we're going to go around, try to figure out exactly what we're going to do this round.
Okay.
And then the next phase is the movement phase, and that's where investigators move or combat. Then we have the Arkham encounter phase. Then we have the Otherworld encounter phase, which is the investigators will have an encounter. But it depends if they're in Arkham or in the other worlds what that encounter will be and where the cards may be drawn from. And then finally we have the Mythos phase. And now it is the first round. Jen's up. What are we going to do this round, Jennifer?
Well, I was thinking about sending Kate over to the witch house. She has 2 clue tokens. That would give her 4. She still needs another one to close a gate, to seal a gate if she goes through one.
Gate, right. And we'll get into that when we get to that point.
Yes. Ashcan, I was thinking about sending him to one of the buildings around him to get the clue tokens. He already has 3. He doesn't have enough movement to get to the witch house to get 5 right away, so I thought I'd send him close.
Okay. Well, you can adjust.
No, he can't get more than 3, so...
Oh, I thought he had a speed thing.
No.
Okay.
He does not.
Okay, what I think I'm going to do, Mandy only needs 1 more, and one more clue token. She'll have 5 to seal gate. So I'm going to send her, I think, up to the Unnameable.
Okay.
Or the Unvisited Isle. One of them 2, it doesn't matter.
Well, I'll go to one, you go to the other.
And then I want to send Daryl down to Mandy so that they can trade some stuff. Mandy's got some weapons, and I don't want her to be the fighter. I want her to be the one that's going to basically go through the other world and close some gates. I'm going to have Daryl be the fighter. So I was thinking I'd swap. I'd give Daryl the 45, and then I'd give Mandy this Necronomicon. I want to leave her with at least 1 weapon. And I'll probably leave her with a magical weapon. I don't know yet. I might actually take the enchanted. Nah, I think I'll leave that with Daryl. So that's pretty much it with them 2. Alright, we know what we're doing?
Yeah.
Alright. So in player order, well, during player order, we would actually do that upkeep phase. So the first player would move everything around, and then the next player, we kind of do it all at once. If there's a timing issue, then we'll deal with that. Okay, so Mandy needs 1, 2, 3, And Daryl needs 1, 2, 3. So they're good. That's all I'm really worried about is movement right now. Alright, so Jennifer is first player. She's going to move...
I guess I'll move Pete
Pete
just because he's here. So I can,
keep track.
Yeah, so I'll go to the unvisited aisle right above there.
Okay.
It's 1, 2.
So 1, 2. Now, anytime you end your movement on a location with a clue token, you would gain that clue token. And also, if during the Mythos phase, a clue token appears on the location you are, you grab that automatically. You cannot say, like, walk through a location and pick up
keep on walking.
And pick up the clue token as you keep on going. Alright. So that was Pete. Next, we'll go with Mandy. Where is she? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
And while I'm first, we do rotate, so it's me, Barry.
Right. Okay, next we have Kate. What's she gonna do?
She's gonna go over to the witch house.
So 1, 2, 3. She gets 2 clue tokens. 2. Okay.
Thank you.
And then finally, like I said, we're gonna bring Daryl down to meet up with Mandy. So 1, 2, 3. And now they are in a same location and they can trade. Now also, during the movement phase, say Kate was in the streets here and Daryl was wherever he started off. Daryl could come down 1, 2, stop momentarily, trade with her, and then keep going.
What can you trade, Barry? I know you cannot trade clue tokens.
Right. You cannot trade clue tokens. You can trade money, unique items, common items, or spells. You cannot trade clue tokens, retainers, allies, skills. Okay.
All right.
Or trophies.
Okay.
Okay, so these two guys are in the same location. Like I said, I'm going to leave her with 1 weapon. And I'm going to give her this tome. Now, the thing with the cards is you cannot have more than 1 card of the same copy. Okay, so here I have the Necronomicon. I couldn't have 2 Necronomicons. And then also with the cards, some of the cards have a hand symbol in the lower left. That means that if you use that card, you are occupying 1 hand. Okay, so for 38 rather, Kate can use 1 hand to shoot that. If she had another card, like better examples down here, Daryl. Daryl has this 45, which has that 1 hand symbol on it, and then the Enchanted King, which has a hand symbol on it. So he could use both of these in a combat situation. Okay, if a card had 2 hands in that lower corner, then that investigator can only use that 1 because their hands are full carrying this object, whatever it is. Usually it's tomes, I think, and some
require 2 hands.
Yes. Okay, so that's the only thing with the cards. You can accumulate as many cards as you can, as long as they're not 2 of the same kind.
Yeah, just pretend you have a backpack.
Backpack?
Yeah, backpack.
Do I want to trade any money while I'm here? I don't think so. Nope.
I should meet up with Pete and give him some money.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of our movement. Now we go into the Arkham encounter phase. So
Pete will take a green for the win, please.
Pete will take a green for the win. As you can see, each district in Arkham is color-coded. Kind of tough to see some of the different colors. But also, the cards that correspond will have a picture of the individual locations on the back of it.
For you colorblind people.
For the colorblind people. This isn't the best game for colorblind people.
No, not really. But if you really love it and you want to play, you'll figure a way.
Yes. So, whenever you do this, there is no discard pile. So, what we're going to do is shuffle these 7 cards for each location, each time we encounter it. This prevents, like, card counting and such, gaming the decks. And then we draw the first card, and the card's broken up into 3 sections for most of them. The Silver Twilight only has 2 locations, but there are 3 text pieces on the card because of a special thing. So you're going to look at the location on the card that you're at and read. So what do you got?
I'm at the unvisited aisle. So the willows sway in a wind that you cannot hear or feel, and for a moment, the hatred of these ancient trees for the invader who has come to their island drives you to your knees. Pass a will -2 check or lose 3 sanity. That's a tough one. Okay, my will is 3. -2 is 1 die.
Okay, so she's gonna roll 1 die.
And I got a 4.
Which is a failure.
Failure. Unless I roll again and Barry edits it and I win. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so success would be a 5 or 6, and she would only need 1 5 or 6. She did not get it. Now she has a couple options. She can spend a clue token and re-roll 1 die, and she could do that as many times as she has clue tokens, but she has to do it one at a time. So she had to spend a clue token, roll, and spend another clue token, roll, if it was a failure. The other option is Mandy here has her ability that you can re-roll any skill check.
Well, I guess I'll use a clue token. He only has 4 sanity, so I passed. And I spent a clue token.
Okay, so clue tokens go back to the bank.
So that was done. Terrible.
Terrible. Okay, now Mandy and Daryl are at the Merchant District also. So, again, we take that card that Jen just got done using, put it on the bottom, give this deck a shuffle.
And then draw for Mandy.
And then we draw for Mandy. Okay, so let's see what we have here. We have... Where are they at? They are at the Unnameable. Okay, it says you bump into Eric Colt. He is a ally, and we'll get into that in a second. He tells you a horrible tale of mythos to test your nerve. If you listen, lose 2 sanity. So do I want to listen? She's got plenty of sanity.
Well, here's the thing. What do you gain by listening?
Well, if I listen, I would lose 2 sanity. If this doesn't drive me insane, meaning the sanity doesn't drop to 0, I could take his ally card from the ally deck. And allies are pretty decent things to have. They're sort of like skills, but they're like a little more powerful. Okay, if that wasn't available, instead I bump into him for information, I would gain 3 clue tokens. So Daryl is available. I think I will lose the 2 sanity and gain him as an ally.
Alright.
Okay, and then this goes on the bottom, and then the next time somebody encounters this, we shuffle again. So, while Jen's doing her encounter, I'm going to sort through the deck and find Daryl. Or, I'm sorry, not Daryl.
I'm in the blue.
Eric Colt. She's in the blue.
Yes.
There you go. Shuffle up.
Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. The blue French Hill District is the only one that only has 2 spots. Everywhere else has 3. Alright.
Right, so, but the card actually does have 3 spaces for
correct,
text.
Because there is the inner sanctum. So, I am at the Witch House. In an old journal, you learn some horrible eldritch secrets. Roll a die. Lose that... In an old journal, you learn some horrible eldritch secrets. Roll a die. Lose that much sanity and gain that many clue tokens. Alright.
Come on, 6.
2. Okay.
So you lose 2 sanity and gain 2 clue tokens. It's not bad. That'll give her enough to seal gate, right?
She can stand it.
Now, Mandy drew Eric Colt, which will give her +2 to speed. And then she will take no sanity loss from nightmarish abilities. And we'll get into that when they pop up.
From monsters?
Not only monsters, some cards, some encounters also have that keyword. So finally we go down to Daryl. He is also on the Merchant District on the Unnameable. Get this deck a shuffle. And we draw the first card, which is... you hear the scurrying and squeaking of a horde of rats from inside the walls. Abruptly, you realize that you are moving towards the sound. Pass a speed -1 check. So Daryl's speed is 4. So he gets 4 dice to start off with. And then that is what his speed is. And then we subtract 1 because of the modifier of the card. Only need 1 success here. Okay, now I need to do this test to make it to the front door before the rats do. So here we go. I need a 5 or a 6. I get a 5 and a 6. He passes. Says, if you fail, you are lost in time and space, which is basically not good. But he didn't. He passed, so nothing happened. So he can continue on his journey.
Good job.
Okay, now, if any investigators were in the other world, we would do the other world encounters. There are none. So we go to the Mythos phase. The first player draws the Mythos card. And with the Mythos cards, we go from the bottom to the top, from left to right. Okay. Well, on the bottom section, we go left to right. We go in a triangle, basically, and then we go to the top section.
What would you like me to read first?
The bottom. We always go from the bottom.
The unnameable.
Okay, so the unnameable gets...
And guess who's getting sucked in?
And we are both in there, so if a gate appears while an investigator is on a location, they get sucked in.
And you're going to the
Okay, and you see up top on the gate, it has the name of the other world that the investigators will go into. So this is Rely.
It's right here.
So when that happens, both of these investigators will be sucked in, and then they will go to Rely here on the left side, but both become delayed. So we lay them over. Basically what that means is on their movement phase, all I can do is stand up. Okay? The Ancient One will get a Doom token, and a monster will pop out. Okay? So there is a monster limit in Arkham Horror, and for a 4 investigator game, that would be 7. It's always the number of investigators plus 3. I have that amount of stands here set off to the side to remind me what that monster limit is. There's 7. There's actually 3 more over there.
Anything extra would go into the outer limits, right?
Yes. Like, now we have 7 monster limit. As soon as an 8th monster is drawn, and, you know, all these stands are used, that 8th monster will go to the outer limits. If the outer limits ever gets 4 monsters in this case, and that varies from player count to player count, then the town folks are getting a little creeped out. The tire track moves up 1, and basically what that means is we lose 1 ally every time that tire marker goes up on the track. There's certain color spots on there on 3, 6, and 9 that'll close different stores in Arkham Horror permanently, in the town of Arkham permanently. If it ever gets to 9, it means the townsfolk just gave up and they left. At that point, there is no monster limit in Arkham. Okay, anytime the tire track would go up by 1 when it's on 10, the Ancient One would get a Doom token. And if at any point after that, since there is no monster limit, if there are a number of monsters in Arkham equal to twice the amount of the Arkham or the monster limit, the Ancient One will awake. So now we have a monster limit of 7. If that happened and the monster limit was dispersed, so to say, in Arkham, but we reached 14 monsters in Arkham, the Ancient One would awaken and we'd have to fight them. All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. So where does a clue appear?
What is the symbol of the monster?
Oh, I don't know.
A crescent moon or plus sign?
No. Well, did you do the clue?
The clue goes to the woods.
Okay.
Nothing good ever happens in the woods. Just
So
saying.
clue goes to the woods.
Yeah, there you go.
And now, as Jen's saying, there's symbols on the front of the monsters, which work for a couple different reasons. But in this case, it's movement.
Crescent moon would move on white. Plus sign would move on black.
That monster is none of them, so he doesn't move.
Okay, and we have a headline.
Okay, so what's the headline?
Ghost ship docks by itself. An ancient ghost ship arrives in Arkham, releasing 2 monsters into the Merchant District streets.
Okay, so we have 2 more monsters come out.
Great. That's just what we wanted.
So where do they go? Rivertown?
Merchant
District
right there.
All right, there. Right where the gate is.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a couple different monsters. We'll get into that with the movement, but these blue ones are flying monsters, and this green one is a special movement type monster. Alright, so that's the end of the Mythos phase. First player marker will get passed to Mandy.
Yes.
Alright, folks, going to pause the video here. Come back and join us. Get gaming. Have fun. See you next time.